for benefits and services. Jump in, and Summer, should we take roll call?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay,
That's okay.
the Director of Finance, right? No, I'm so sorry. For the State Treasurer, Mr. Rufinio. Ms. Higa. Ms. Yamamoto. Ms. Dillon.
Here.
For the State Superintendent, Mr. Yamanaka. Sorry. And then for the Director of Finance, Ms. Whittaker. Sorry.
Summer, you know, there's a lot of changes going on. So it's okay.
I know, I'm so
It's okay.
sorry. There's a lot of new
A
faces.
time of transition, and so it's all good, and coffee and morning, so no worries. Do we have a
Yes,
quorum?
Chairperson Hendricks, you have a quorum.
Excellent, love it, great, thank you. All right, first item of business is approving our committee agenda.
Move approval. Second.
It's been approved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Our agenda is approved. Thank you. Item number 2 is approval of our minutes from last November, our last Benefits and Services Committee meeting. Are there any grammatical errors, Dana? Any
I don't have any notes on it, so we're
comments on minutes?
We ought to be good.
All right. I'd entertain a motion. Okay.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and finance, I was just gonna ask, abstentions, so there's 2 abstentions. Finance and superintendent of schools, have that Summer? Great. Great, thanks, all right. Item number 3 is our retirement readiness service delivery update. Sandy, update us on how we're doing. I always look forward to this, so.
Okay. So I'm Sandy Blair. I'm the director of our Retirement Readiness Division, and we are the division that does all the member education and outreach throughout the state. So I'm here today to update you since last year on the activity that we have had throughout the state. First of all, we will be opening our member center in Fresno. That will be serving the counties of Fresno, Kern, Tulare, Madera, and Kings County. The building is located at 2400 Civic Center Square, and we are in suite 460. We will be having our soft opening next week, so that consists of all the staff moving in and training, safety training, things like that. And then our grand opening will be on Monday, May 20th. So here's an illustration of the floor plan. So in this office, we have 3 benefit planning offices, a conference room, a workshop room. We have staff area, the break room, and front counter services. So this office will offer all the same services that our other member service centers offer. And here's just some pictures of the office. So the building, there's some pictures there of kind of the office, the benefit planning offices, as well as the front counter, a closer look at the benefit planning office, break room, and the conference room. So we're really excited to get this office up and running to serve our members in the Central Valley. So let's take a look at our staff. So Karen Perez is the manager of this member service center. Her, along with Ken Campbell, were actually contract benefit specialists through the Fresno County Office of Ed. And then we have 3 new employees, Jasmine, Tara, and Wendy, who will be working with Ken as benefit specialists. Wendy is our defined contribution hybrid specialist in this area. And we have started serving Kern County, so we've been working with the administration there because that contract will expire at the end of June and will be served by this group of individuals out of Fresno, which that is going to leave us with only 3 remaining County Office of Education contracts, one in Humboldt County, Santa Cruz, and Santa Barbara. So kind of serving the more remote coastline in the state. And then also very excited, we opened an office in Redding, California. So looking at serving that more northern most northern region of the state. We have one staff person there who is a hybrid benefit specialist, Tammy Gellis, who relocated from Sacramento here. She was the manager of our member service center here up to the Redding area. So she's been instrumental in providing services in that area. She also was able, since she was up there, she covers Butte County as well. And she was able to assist our members after the campfire. So it was very nice to have a resource up there to do that. So she will be serving the counties of Siskiyou, Modoc, Trinity, Shasta, Lassen, Tehama, Plumas, Glenn, and Butte counties. So we're really happy to have a resource up there. You can go visit.
Dana would love to jump in as appropriate. Go ahead, Dana.
Sandy, thank you so much, and tell Tammy too. I mean, I know she's coming closer to home, so
Yes, she is.
it's been a little bit easier for her than maybe somebody else, but I know that our members up north really, really appreciate it. If you live in Happy Camp, that takes you 2 hours to get to Wairika,
Yeah.
which is 4 hours from here.
Yeah.
So to have an appointment that's, 6 to 8 hours away is tough.
Right.
So even Reading's a really long haul for some of those people, so we really, really appreciate it. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Thank you. And she's loving life. I just got an email from her yesterday.
good,
She
good,
hasn't
good.
been this happy in a long time,
Wow.
That's
so
terrific.
it's good for everyone, right?
Trees.
Absolutely.
So this is just a snapshot of this office. So we have a separate benefit planning office, and then that's kind of the lobby. And then there is an open area that she does groups and workshops where we actually put in the chairs like you see in the boardroom behind me so that we could fit in a few more members in there. So it's a little smaller, more intimate setting, but it's been working very well. So, I know you all know, but in August, Pension 2 crossed the $1 billion threshold in assets. So very excited about that. In October, we hosted a $1 billion event here at the headquarter office, as well as all the member service centers, and that was for employees. And just to raise awareness and continue to have the conversation about our Pension 2 program and what that means. So we had activities throughout the lobby through the lunchtime where people could spin and answer a Pension 2 question. You want to take a stab at one? Okay,
Bring it on.
okay.
Why not?
So can only CalSTRS members participate in Pension 2?
No, I don't think so. Right? No?
That's
Okay.
right. All school district employees, very good. We'll have to get you a prize. So it was very well received. It was an engaging afternoon here, and then we also rolled that out, like I said, to all the member service centers, and so brought some activities and stuff for them to participate in as well. We also partnered with the cafe, and they had a grill special that was the $1 billion burger, which had some super fancy truffle oil, fancy cheese, with a little Pension 2 flag in it. And to date, it has been their most successful grill item that they've served since they've opened the cafe here at CalSTRS. So super excited about that. So it was just a fun kind of day that we had celebrating. And then just a current update, Pension 2 is now at $1.08 billion in assets. We have 1,226 plans, so we still have a ways to go to grow and to be in every single school district, county office in the state of California. And we are nearly at 25,000 participants in the plan. So very proud of all the work that's been done around the Pension 2 program. The hybrid benefit specialists are now in place at all the member service centers, and they've really played a huge role in continuing to grow the program, do outreach, get the word out. We have John Schiffler, Kevin Kirkpatrick, who are our business development officers that continue to go out and meet with school districts and school officials to still raise awareness about the Pension 2 program in the marketplace in California. So we're very happy with the progress that we continue to make with our program.
Sandy, I've got a couple of people online, and I just wanted to share an anecdote. I don't know if I emailed you this, but I did my taxes this year. This is too much information maybe, but it was a year where I don't know, for different people, we get hit differently with taxes, but this year I was like, oh, it was a painful year. And And I got my it was just it wasn't to a board member, it was just me as a member. I got an email from Pension 2 saying, tax season got you down. You need to save more for retirement. I had just met with the person who does my taxes, and he's like, you need to put more money. And I was like, I'm a board member. Who cares about retirement security? I'm not saving enough. And he was just like, you need to put more money in your 403B. And so I just kind of laughed. I felt like, oh, I'm the target audience. So I really appreciate the specific marketing that we do and how thoughtful it is, because I thought the timing of it, I know it hit me, and I'm sure a lot of other members kind of at the right time. And I think just being strategic about how we catch people and getting them thinking about it, because usually at tax time, that's sort of when we're thinking about our finances. So I really appreciated the thoughtfulness of that. And I just kind of was laughing like, whoa, I'm the demo. It really was effective to me. And right away I went to my district and asked for more payroll deduction. So I just think those are clever ways for us to really capture and help educators to really save for retirement. So got a couple more people in line. Dana? Yeah, that was good.
So seeing that you did ask us the question if you had to be a member or not to participate, do we have the demographics of how many non-members are participating?
We think we're around 25% of non-members.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, yeah. And we now have marketing campaigns around that, mostly in outreach events. So we bolstered some of our information because we don't have their emails that in our system to reach out to them unless the school districts will do that on our behalf, which some do participate with us in that effort because they're PERS. So we don't have a line to get that information. But we do at outreach events and things like that. We have information for them specific to let them know.
Great. Harry?
Thanks for the update, Sandy, on Pension 2.
Sure.
And we know how important Pension 2 or additional savings is for our members to ensure that they have that secure retirement. We know what the numbers are in terms of replacement ratio. And we know that if teachers aren't doing more to supplement their retirement, they won't be able to maintain their standard of living in retirement. That's why this is so important to our efforts. $1 billion under management now. Does the team have a target of where you would like to see the assets under management in 5 years from now or 10 years? And the number of participants is my 2 questions. And then third question would be, is there anything that we can do as a committee and as the board to support growing the number of teachers, members of the system that participate in Pension 2?
So when in 2014, so when I took over as a director of Defined Contribution Solution, which was the end of 2013, and then we changed our record keeper to Voya and went live in 2014, November, we had $470 million in assets. So less than 4 years later, we went over the $1 billion mark. We are one, if not the fastest growing plan that Voya has ever done record keeping for. So they're very happy with the growth that we've had. And I mean, ideally, we would like every single school district employee at some point to participate in Pension 2. I think staying along the lines reasonably. I mean, within 5 years, I mean, if we could more than double our participation and get in the $3 to $4 billion range, I feel that would be very successful. And for what you all can do is really, that word of mouth and having the conversations with people, which I know, Harry, you do, Sharon does, Dana. You all have conversations. You've referred members to us. Also, I mean, we are available to come to events at school districts. So just contact us and we will make every effort. We have resources now, like I said, throughout the state that can come and do this work. We are a very low-cost, revenue-neutral provider, as you all know, and so we feel that we're a great option for all school district employees.
Yeah, there was an article recently, the last few days, on the repeal of the fiduciary rule. And I guess the way of saying it is, when that fiduciary rule was repealed, the sellers of products in which the products and the individual's alignment are really skewed has skyrocketed. So one of the attractions about Pension 2 when we talk about it, is the alignment of interest. Is pension two is really aligned with the retirement security. Our members keep more of their own dollars that they're saving. So I do think it's important. It's an important issue for this committee, for us to be aware of and to keep track of and get updates on, and to do whatever we can to provide the resources, because it goes right to the heart of our mission, is to ensure the retirement security for California's educators. And it's not just the defined benefit plan. Our members have to do more overtime, and they will be well served, and that is part of our responsibility. So thanks for your efforts, and if we come up with suggestions or ideas, we should share them with you, and if you need resources from us, we need to know what they are, so that you get them.
Yep. And I think too, just to that point, on a more global view, I mean, really, it's school administrators and educating them on the products that are out there. So many of them, without getting too political and getting in trouble here, they think they're doing the best for their members, right, by bringing in vendors into their school sites. And those vendors that have a lot of feet on the ground, that we've all talked about, the pizza lunches, they're not always doing business in the best interest of our membership and school employees. And so I think, in your positions, I mean, creating that awareness with them as well, and who they're partnering with to bring into their school sites. I mean, they are a fiduciary. These are their plans. We are just one vendor out of 56 vendors this year in the state that offers a product. And we've all talked about the vast array of the choices that our school district employees need to choose from. So I think too, at that higher level is really those conversations with the administrators and understanding who they're bringing in, because the employees feel that that's an endorsement. And we found, through our statement comparison programs, like if we can sit down with those superintendents or school officials and have those conversations in some of the products that they've invested in and say, hey, look at these fees that you're paying. Because that difference from 0.25% over a year on a $100,000 investment and 1% can be $30,000 in fees over, a 20-year period. I know all of us would like to have $30,000 more in our accounts. And so, I think we're raising more awareness around that, partnering with the Security Exchange Commission. We had the summit here, and we continue to raise that awareness and have those conversations. So that's another area that, you guys could have great influence over.
Well, it makes me think, if I may, I think, and again, not to get too political, but I think it is something I know, again, in my district, and I know there's friends in the audience that have, in our districts, there's 56 options for educators to choose from, and they don't, most of them just, the 403B compare, those kinds of tools really help, but, I had 5 minutes to figure out my, upping my contribution rate. So a lot of faculty and teachers are like that. We only have so much amount of time. So I do think there's been conversations in the past about trying to figure out ways to limit that. And I know that there's lots of challenges with that in the state of California, but that might be something that, could be discussed around, because I do think it's a problem and it's not going away. And I continually get emails from faculty forwarding me the emails that I forward to you guys that they get every week from people saying, we'd love to meet with you and talk to you about your retirement security at CalSTRS, and they use the language, they're not. So it's a continual problem, and it would be great if somehow within our scope of our fiduciary duty that we could sort of help maybe resolve that in what Harry's saying about making sure we're securing, having retirement security for our members. So that continues to be an ongoing challenge, and I hope the people who are hearing me say this are thinking about that. All right, Karen.
Okay, thanks, Sandy. So in addition to the time that teachers are expelling to follow up on the different options, I'm assuming that when you make the presentations that suggestion of a certain amount, because they say, I can't afford this, I can't afford whatever amount, but if you're explaining to them that even a little amount will compound and
Time value and money.
make big values.
Yes. And we have, some of our materials actually have a financial calculator, if it's not like a real calculator, but a slide rule that if you invest X number of dollars for this period of time, you're going to have this amount of money.
Thank you.
So, yes. Okay, so next.
Sorry, Sandy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're so excited about all the stuff that's happening. Dana?
So just going back to employees of school districts being captive audiences, there's some third-party administrators out there that are selling product, and that there's been agreements within districts to allow access and things like that. So I think anything that we can do to publicize that.
Yes.
Oh, and I think Maggie, you going to speak? Then I might not say what I was going to say. I will just say that CTA's been pretty involved in this, particularly when Maggie was chair of the retirement committee. And so I'll let her tell you what CTA's been doing.
No, you can finish up, I'm doing my local thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this has been, a concern of the union members of our system. And one of the things that CTA's retirement committee has been pushing is that either under negotiations as a condition of negotiations, or even just in agreement with districts, is that if somebody's going to come on campus to talk to you, then you ought to have a right to say who comes on campus. And so there's a lot of chapters out there now that are in agreement with their districts about who actually gets to have access to the employees or not. And so I think that's something that we continue to work through with our employee groups.
Is that also electronically or just in person?
I'm not sure. But that's be something we ought to cover.
Like all forms of communication?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Maggie, did you want to chime in? Maggie Ellis. Good to see
Maggie
you.
Ellis, teacher leader, Elk Grove Education Association. This is always a passion of mine because as the fifth largest district in the state, we for a long time have actually had contract language saying vendors will not come on campus, and we have board policy. However, this last year, some managed to get introduced to other units. We have, I think, 8 bargaining units now.
Right.
We have a lot of new people, new principals, new secretaries, new administrators at the district level, and our board policies go lists and lists, and people forget. So what I have learned after the fact is we need to do due diligence in making sure that people are regularly informed of our contract language and board policy. But the other aspect, and Sandy and I have been in conversation because we recently had somebody say, well, we're connected with CalSTARS. And I was like, oh, who's my first contact? And of course, I get the immediate response from Sandy saying, no. So some of our conversations and my recommendations would be that CalSTARS needs to have some sort of a communication that goes to superintendents, to payroll, to HR departments, but also to union leaders saying, we will not do this. We will not contact you via email and hawk our products. We will not have flyers that are going to be misleading, because that's what most of these people are doing. All these agents are saying, well, we can help you with your CalSTARS calculations. We connect with CalSTARS. We do these things, but even to the point of even using colors, from what I'm hearing on some of their flyers.
Logos.
Yes. So I think the preventative is to do not just the districts, but do with local leaders so that we can partner with, it's a point of conversation. We can open up that dialogue to say, you know what, we're not going to do this. And unfortunately, I got wind of it. Unfortunately, it wasn't before I had some people sign up with agents who put them in products that were high cost. Now it's after the fact, and now they want to go to pension too. But we have to do more in terms of preventing this kind of engagement. And the education about 403B Compare, while it's a great website, it still can be intimidating to just get your foot in the door. So I'm really happy to hear that we're expanding the services for CalSTARS. You guys know that I'm first one signing up. For the first half of the year, I give me, and I'll take anything you want to pilot, because as CalSTARS people say, if Maggie puts it out, people sign up like this in 2 days.
That's right.
But anything that we can do to support you in getting that message out, we are more than welcome to do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Maggie. Brian?
Maggie mentioned a perennial problem with us, which is people using our name or trying to misrepresent themselves as CalSTARS. I do want you to know that the legal office has a very vigorous policy and very vigorous program to follow up on those, because that is a registered mark. So that's really, if you think, that's your trademark. So if anybody misuses that we become aware of, so I'm again encourage the communication. I know some of the members send me that information.
So since this is a public meeting, we could say,
Say,
when
please.
that happens, people can forward the email to the
Yeah,
ombudsman?
compliance@calstrs.com. And we then, we work with outside counsel and we protect our mark and we do cease and desist letters. We will litigate if we have to.
So compliance@calstrs.com.
To eliminate that. So we do, we work closely with our benefits and services people.
Good.
But just to let you know, we take that very seriously.
Thank you. Yeah, Jack?
Yeah, I just want to give you a real-life example of Harry's comment around fiduciary alignment, because you may not be aware of the 529 plans that are available to all of us for saving for college. That's a great example where great plans, it's a great opportunity for families to save. But right now, there's a national regulatory enforcement action underway because it isn't just about getting the right product for someone, it's the share class that they're offered by the broker. And most people wouldn't know that you could take XYZ large cap fund, but there's a variety of share classes that deeply affect the commission structure. And most people are very unaware of that share class issue. So right now, there is a regulatory effort underway to look at how those plans are being marketed to people in the U.S. to find out, is it in the best interest of you in a 529 plan to have that particular share class. So that's the problem. This is far more detailed than most people's financial literacy to really understand this. And that's why having a fiduciary rule ups the game a lot. If we had a stricter fiduciary rule for the marketing of securities products. So otherwise, other than that, you're chasing down these enforcement actions around the country.
Thanks, Jack. Sandy?
Okay.
Back to you.
So next exciting thing.
Wow.
So we've been engaged in efforts with the Department of Education, EdJoin, and teacher credentialing. So as you know, on the board's business plan, we were tasked with initiating a framework for onboarding new members. And so these past couple years really been working to build those relationships, and we're right now in a very good place to launch a pilot program at the end of June for educators to use this upcoming school year. So EdJoin is also rolling out, so you all know that that's like the largest teacher recruitment site where educators and then school district county office of ed can go look at resumes and recruit their employees. And so they are also launching an onboarding platform. So school districts or county office of ed can partner with them and they can do an online onboarding piece. So we are working with them to get CalSTRS information on that website and piloting that with approximately 20 school districts that will participate in this pilot on their platform. We also, in working with the Department of Education and teacher credentialing, really looking at that value of our defined benefit pension for retention as well as around recruitment efforts for educators, especially early in their careers, to understand what that CalSTRS benefit brings them. So we are working with some individual school districts also to pilot some in-person onboarding. So we also go to onboarding. I think, Karen, you've seen us at Washington, where we do a number of onboarding education pieces throughout the state at different school districts and county office of education, where we can do a presentation, as well as have maybe an information table there, but really getting the word out more globally throughout the state. Teacher credentialing has offered, I gave you all, this is one of our new publications that we're working on. It is going to print, so we just printed these here. But the teacher credentialing group has offered to take these to college campuses and credentialing campuses to talk to the educators and hand these out, really engaging them at the beginning of their career so that they will understand, or at least know when they hear CalSTRS that we're their retirement plan, right? Because so many people don't know. And then we're also going to have a companion piece from Security Exchange Commission. So that will go along, and that talks about educators and investing. So again, raising that awareness, because they did run a pilot program in the state of California. They were very active in Elk Grove with Maggie's help in doing presentations to the teachers and throughout the state. They are launching that pilot program more globally throughout the United States. So excited about that as well. So that partnership with them has been very fruitful, and I think really looking at raising awareness, you know, not only in California, but for educators across the country. So we are updating some of our videos. So those of you who have watched our videos, they've been very Pension 2 centric because we're showing those to our members. Since we're going more on a wider platform, we're changing some of the language in our videos and targeting them towards compare and understanding the products that you're going to be investing in, and do your research so that you understand what's best for you. So these are the 3 videos that we're looking to host on the site. As well as developing out another set of, a total of 5 modules that school districts, so Marietta, working with Elk Grove, as well as San Joaquin County, have offered to do these education pieces that will be in the realm of 10 minutes or less, that will have resources that they can do as part of their immersion programs. So continuing that conversation with their educators, and we're partnering with them as far as what do they want to hear, what would be helpful for them, because we could build it and it might not, we want to make sure it's valuable to them. So basically, we're going to put a lesson plan together for them, and then they can deliver it throughout the year. And then hopefully, by word of mouth, by going and speaking at organizations such as PASCO, which we will do in the fall, and talking about the success of this, that we will get more and more school districts and county office of ed every year to engage us early so that we can get and start these conversations with new educators. So super excited about that.
Do you want to jump in?
Yeah. So Sandy, your efforts are amazing, and how far we've gotten is commendable. I mean, there's no doubt. With EdJoin and with the districts and stuff, I think it's fabulous. And your write-up made me think about the state mandated trainings that are required for every school employee, bloodborne pathogens, mandated reporting, that type of thing. So our school's insurance provider provides those for my district and their videos, and you have to sign off that you've watched it and that kind of thing. I imagine that's through state law, but maybe that might be something that we want to take a look at also, that that some sort of training for every employee or every new hire, that there's something that's mandated that they have to go through, so then they become aware of it. So, I mean, that takes it just that next step. So I'd like us to keep that in the back of our mind, because maybe we can go that route as well.
And we've had conversations with the Department of Education about that, because retention and recruitment is at the forefront of Tony Thurman's, activities. And so they're actually working to put together a task force work group, which we will participate in as well. And so we will continue to have those conversations.
Great. Harry?
You may have discussed this with your team already. If you have, forgive me. If you haven't, it's a bit of a challenge to think about building relationships with schools of education that are training California's next generation of educators, to really speak to them about the CalSTRS side of their career in terms of what that means in terms of their compensation, because from my perspective, choosing a career of teaching is also understanding the long-term deferred compensation aspect of pension and Pension 2. And if partnerships can be built with schools of education, it might be helpful and beneficial to help that next generation of teachers really thinking about their retirement, their economic security.
Absolutely.
And Zenny, I also just appreciated, and I don't know if people in the public have access to this or if it's back
they
there.
haven't yet.
They haven't, okay. So we'll make sure people can take a look at examples of this. But I appreciated that you did have a little line around if you're working part-time or substituting, that you can still be a member, a defined benefit member. I just think as much as we can reach out to, our part-time faculty and our substitute teachers, the better, because there's a lot of them out there, and they might not be aware of that. So I appreciate you, that detail has not been missed by me, so thank you.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
Just a couple.
Sure.
So just quickly, some of the things that we do. So we did our third year of our financial awareness days, held at every member service center as well as in Fresno and Humboldt County Office of Ed. So this is a day where we reach out in the summer. It is in July, and coming this year, it'll be the week of July 15th through the 19th. And we host a number of different workshops. We have Pension 2 information. We have our VOIA representatives there, as well as our hybrid benefit specialists. This past year, we served nearly 600 people at these events. And again, that creating awareness and education throughout the state at these events. So these are all held in our member centers, and these are just some of the pictures from that. And then National Retirement Security Week. So we also participate in this, and this is a national effort to raise awareness about the importance of retirement savings. So this began in 2006, and it's efforts of NAGDA, which is the National Association of Government Defined Contribution Administrators. And NAGDA has worked with the House and the Senate, who have supported this event by passing resolutions to support this week. Looking forward as a NAGDA board member this upcoming year that another resolution is signed, and we will again participate in this week. This is the third week in October. So that's not a great week for our teachers to come in and see us. So by trying to do that for a couple of years, these last couple years, we've really landed on providing webinars. So through the 4 days, or 2 days and 4 webinars, we reached 730 members who participated in those. And that's general retirement webinars as well as a Pension 2 specific webinar. And then our new educator days. So this coming year will be our third year in doing new educator days at the member service centers. Again, 3 days, they're held on Saturdays. They're a half-day event at all 6 of our MSC locations. And again, that's that new educator general information workshop as well as Pension 2 information. And then just a quick snapshot to date as to the activities and the number of members that we've met with, whether that's in group or one-on-one sessions, our front counter contacts, just walk-ins, our workshops and outreach events. We are growing and seeing more and more members each year, which you can see here with the launch of the Retirement Readiness Business Plan for fiscal year 17-18. You can see the fiscal years prior to that, we were pretty flat at around 46,000 members that we served through those interactions. And in 17-18, we were over 59,000 members that we had touch points and interactions with. And so far this year through the third quarter, we have met with and seen almost 48,000 members. So I think we're on target to meet or exceed the number of members that we met with last year. So I just really like to shout out to the Retirement Readiness team, all the member service centers with all the activities and more engagement efforts that we've been doing, stakeholder engagement with Jennifer Helfen Gomez out of our Glendale MSC office, really working actively with our public affairs group here to get the word out, to have conversations, to get us a bigger presence throughout the state, that we're participating in more things so that we can have these conversations to hopefully provide a better retirement future for our educators and school employees throughout the state. So with that, I thank you.
Great. I just have a couple, yeah, it's awesome. And I would commend for the new board members, if you have an opportunity to, and I'm sure there's plenty of invitations out there, to come to a workshop where you hear our staff, educating members around how the CalSTRS defined benefit pension works, how defined benefit supplement, which a lot of people don't know they have, and then you tell them and you think you're Jesus because you said you have, $20,000 in this account you didn't know about. So I would commend it to newer board members just to visit at some point, or just kind of step into one of those workshops just to get a feel for what our staff do. And then also, it's a great way to learn about the benefit if you don't know how the CalSTRS benefit works. I know every time I've been a member for 15 years, I've been on the board 8 years, every time I go to those things, I learn something new. So I really appreciate the hard work we're trying to do on that front. A couple kind of follow-up questions. We have 8 service centers now, correct? And then the Humboldt, Santa Cruz, and Santa Barbara are still contract. And is the intention, is that sort of, at this point, we're sort of in I guess my question is, are with the 8 service centers, are we kind of done for now in terms of service centers in California? Yes. That's a lot.
Satellite, and through each of those member service centers, there's satellite locations that they go to serve members in the more outlying areas, or, so there's more locations where we offer services.
Okay, great. And then it sounds like you're working on the County of Ed. One of my questions is what are the barriers for us getting into every district with pension two?
Some of them are the compliance TPAs that refuse to add us. They'll put roadblocks in our space as far as that you need 5 teachers or 5 employees that are requesting you before we'll add you. Others are some school districts also refuse, even though by law they have to. And so we're kind of pushing that a bit, but oftentimes it's a hard sell, and you walk a fine line there too, right? So we continue to add districts every single month. I think so far this year we're well over 30 new plans, which some of those are charter schools. So they're small, smaller, but the participation rates there are very strong. So we just keep, John and Kevin are out there, and, we're getting more leads with the defined contribution specialists. As we have more conversations with people who their school districts don't offer pension to, we're getting inroads, and it's just kind of that pushing. And then if we can get in touch with the, hired superintendents, we can show them that benefit. And if we're not in a district, oftentimes that helps too.
Helpful. Again, I think that's a way we can partner with faculty associations and our labor colleagues, because 5 teachers in a school, I think we can do that, right? We can, we know 5 teachers in some of these schools. So I think there's partnerships that.
And Maggie's been a great partner and advocate for us as well. So we really appreciate all of those relationships.
So more work to do, but great work so far. And I'm always inspired when we get to kind of hear how we're reaching. At least my faculty in Glendale, they always comment about how they're just like, God, they're so patient, they're so nice, I'm so confused, and I walked out. It's the first time I feel like I understand my benefit. So I'm really happy about these service centers, because I do think they provide a really kind of tangible face-to-face interaction with our members. So thanks, Sandy.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else from the committee? All right, great, thanks. Cassandra, I think you're a transition player. Andrew Roth is in Austin enjoying probably good barbecue and good music and some challenging politics right now. But so you are stepping in for now.
I don't know whose idea was not to appoint an interim, but it was a crazy one.
I think I know whose idea. So give us the committee work plan for
the directors are doing great.
Next year.
So we have 3 months that we have planned for the year to hold benefits and services committee meetings. And in September, the plan for that meeting is to have the business transformation and change management update with Jeff Zimmer and the activities that he's undertaking. And it'll really be a focus on the employer readiness and the employer roadshows that we're doing in preparation of soft launch. So there's a lot of activity that's going on in preparation for that part of the implementation. And then we will review the charter for the committee at that time. In November, we will have Elisa Dobbins present the annual member satisfaction survey for the committee, and followed by the survivor benefits overview and outstanding death benefit update by Melissa Adams. And this was at the request of Karen and other board members who had wanted to understand what we were doing with those accounts that become stale that we can't locate survivors of benefits that are from members passing. And then in May, we have the demographics and retirement preparedness, the results from that survey that we're going to be conducting, or that we are conducting currently, and that will be Elisa Dobbins and Jan Spano who will be presenting that information. And really, we want to look at how that impacts our members and if there's any components of the demographic information that drives decisions and how different influences can impact people's retirement decisions. And then we will also look at the impacts of the pension solution implementation on service levels. We've been talking about this for a while because with the implementation coming up with the employer soft launch or the FR1 soft launch, and then moving into the next phase, we're going to really start monitoring how we're able to still service our members in the timeframes that we're able to service the members. We expect questions to come up from the employers. We expect our call center is probably going to start having a heavier workload coming in because there is going to be a transition. Our goal is to try to maintain the targets that we currently have set. That is still going to be a stretch goal because we expect the volumes are going to go up and our staffing isn't necessarily going to go up. We're just going to try to prepare as much as possible and maintain to the best degree that we can and provide resources and reallocate where we can to address those. And then in May, we'll discuss the input on the committee work plan. That's an entire year at a glance.
There you
It's crazy.
go. There you go.
So,
Karen, do you have any
questions?
thoughts? Since you'll be,
I noticed that
do you want to key in, Karen, so I can? That's okay. Go ahead.
maybe I missed the discussion, but in September, the dues and insurance deduction.
oh, I did miss that. I'm sorry. We are
Okay.
going to be we are going to be bringing forward information on our dues and insurance deductions. We are currently recapturing costs associated with us deducting dues and, for the associations and insurance premium deductions from our members' paychecks. And what we need to do, we're not capturing the entire cost, so we have a plan to try to recapture the costs in the totality that we are starting the communication plans with our stakeholder groups and want to present to you what that looks like and what the decision is to recapture the total costs, direct and indirect costs for that work that we're doing.
So it's mainly an informational item and not an action item?
It is an information item because that is delegated to Jack it's within his delegation authority.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. The executive officer report, Cassandra.
I don't have anything else to report at this time.
All right. Okay, and a review of information requests. Summer, did you hear anything? I don't have any notes. I mean, I think just taking the comments that we've talked about, making sure, Harry, what Harry mentioned about having the conversation around pension to being a significant part of the conversation around retirement security for all, but I didn't hear any specific action information requests, right? Okay. Draft agenda for the next committee meeting, take a look at that. Any questions or comments about that? All right, our last item is an opportunity for a statement of the public. We have one person, B. Glenn. Welcome to CalSTRS. There's a microphone right over here. You can go ahead and step up to the microphone. You have a 3-minute time period to make your comments, and welcome, Ms. Glenn.
Thank you. This is my first CalSTRS board meeting. Thank you, CalSTRS board, for allowing me to speak during the public comment segment. I'm referring to item number 2, Roman numeral 4. My name is B. Glenn. I had been an educator for 21 years. Due to unfortunate circumstances of which I will not go into detail about, I can no longer do the job. Thus, I'm here to ask CalSTRS to grant me disability benefits. That's the crux of my comment, and I will give this to the CEO, Mr. Ennis.
Great, thank you, Ms. Glenn.
Thank you.
And with that, Benefits and Services is adjourned. And when would you like to start the investment committee?
We'll start at 10:20, which is 10 minutes from now.